everyone and welcome to today's video. If you're new, my name's Emma, I'm an illustrator based in Sheffield and these are my daily-ish vlogs. Today is, once again, as you've probably noticed during the summer, if you've been watching me for any kind of time now, you've probably noticed that I'm a bit slower in the summer to work. Most of the days when I do a face-to-face vlog, it seems to be like I'm always, I don't know, maybe I'm not, and maybe I need to look back and see if this is true, but it feels like I'm always having a lazy day, and I think that's a product of the summer. Unintentionally, I slow down in the summer, and I think that's something that I'm just now starting to get to grips with. Rather than feeling like I need to be working all the time, because I don't really. If you don't know my setup, I work for myself. I am a self-employed illustrator. I also have a small business called Embers and Ink that I run myself. So as a sole trader, I am my own boss, and I think there's a hangover from when I used to work as a teaching assistant or in retail management, where I feel like I always need to be busy, to be productive, to be worthwhile. And I've been working for myself now since about 2017-ish, thereabouts. And I've only just recently, last few years, started to appreciate that I am the boss of me, which is really nice, which sometimes you can lose sight of when you're working for someone else, because obviously they've got their own targets and stuff like that you need to, if you're in a paid job and you want to keep your job, you need to be working to their hours and their schedules and stuff. But when you work for yourself, it's really difficult to get out of that mindset that, if you have a lay-in until 10 o'clock or whatever, trying not to feel guilty about that, because when you work for yourself, you can work anytime. And one of the things that I've realised is I slow down in the summer, and I think that's no bad thing. I don't have a lot of deadlines. Anyone that runs their own small business will know that the summer is the quietest season anyway. Most of the big ramping up of the small business side of my self-employed life is Christmas. Christmas is like what you're really focusing on. So summer is naturally quite a slow month anyway. No matter what you do to try and push sales, there's usually very little going on. Also, people tend not to want to engage with stuff. I found that a lot, especially with YouTube, that since the summer holidays began at school, my viewing figures have gone down, and I completely understand. People have got their kids at home, they've got less time to themselves, they might be going on summer holidays. Generally, as a small business, I don't mind it being slow in the summer, as long as I've budgeted my winter take-ins to be able to help cover my slower months. I don't mind that. I completely understand. And I personally, I don't function very well in the summer myself. My brain isn't ready for making decisions about my business, or I don't know. If you've watched me for any kind of time, you'll know that I don't function in the heat. I've bought a couple of big fans recently, which have helped. It has cooled down a bit, especially today, which is why I'm in my studio. But basically what I'm saying is, don't feel like you have to be productive all the time. I think that's basically the bare bones of what I'm trying to say. I've realised that I don't need to be productive all the time, and sometimes it's just nice to exist, which it is okay. Don't feel like a failure. I think sometimes growing up, especially in a capitalist world, capitalist system, that you get that feeling built into you that you need to be busy. Any kind of idleness is you being broken. I might be taken to an extreme, but I'm sure you've felt that yourself. But just existing is fine. So that's what I've been doing recently. I've been kind of existing. But with thinking about Christmas in mind, I mentioned this the other day, that I need to sit down and do some Christmas card designs. I don't need to. I've got all designs that I can get reprinted, but I kind of think I've had an idea about a Christmas card design, and I said in one of the last videos I was going to sit down that night and bash out some ideas on my iPad. I didn't do that. But today I think I want to set like a 30-minute timer or a 40-minute timer and just kind of get some ideas onto my iPad screen just to see if anything comes of it. And if nothing comes of it, I mean, I'll just reprint my old card designs. I've got quite a lot of card designs from last year still printed. I don't really need to reprint a lot. Sometimes I get the desire to do some new things. So that's what I'm going to do today. The studio is cool enough. I mean, you've probably heard by that motorbike going past that I still have the window open. It's still warm, but look, jumper, I'm not dying of heat stroke. Amazing, perfect studio conditions today. So yeah, sorry about the little waffle to get to the point, but the point was basically don't feel like you need to work yourself all the time. And it's taken me a while to feel comfortable in knowing myself and knowing my own seasons, and knowing that summer is my rest time. On that same note, I don't know if anyone else feels this, my peak working time when my brain is like, yes, is September. Does anyone else have this? Is it just a layover from when I used to be at school, like the start of the new school term? I don't know, September, autumn times, that's when I want to be sitting, thinking, planning, working, getting my paper out, getting new stationery and stuff. I think it probably is from school. But as soon as that kind of autumn air hits, you know, when you can smell autumn in the air and it smells a bit frosty, that's when I want to be doing studio work, working in my studio, working on my portfolio, working on drawings, working on projects. That's my peak working time. And it's taken me since 2017 really to know that these are my seasons and to accept them and be kind to myself. It's okay for me to take time off. So anyway, enough of that ramble. I'm going to set you up on a little tripod, do 40 minutes work. I'm not going to show you what I'm doing yet, because if it does become a product, I want it to be like a reveal. But it's basically one Christmas card idea that I've had. Might result in nothing, but it's good to set yourself little timers and have low pressure, low pressure on the outcome, if you know what I mean. So I'm not thinking I must get a card designed today. Whatever. I've got enough kind of slack in my system, like I say, with last year's cards that are already there, designs that I could get reprinted, that it's not stressful. It's not a stressful situation that I need to get this done, but it would be nice. So I'm setting myself a 40-minute timer. If something comes of it, something comes of it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I don't know if you ever find yourself stressed out by doing tasks like that, but setting yourself a 40-minute timer to kind of brainstorm is really nice way of doing it. Another way, actually, if you're looking for techniques to help generate ideas in a kind of low pressure on the outcome, Katie Chappell, I've mentioned this before in some of my videos, I know I am repeating myself if you've watched me for a long time, but Katie Chappell of the Good Ship Illustration has shared a really good tip, and she does 20 things in 20 minutes. I think that's what she calls it. Basically, you give yourself a 20-minute timer, you get a page, you separate it out into 20 blocks, and you basically work very quickly, just getting any random ideas down in 20 minutes. In fact, I might do that. Come on, let's do that. And I'll show you what I'm drawing as well. Why not? So it kind of forces you to get anything down, even if it's a bad idea, just to, like, it's basically an idea a minute, isn't it? And that can help you generate ideas and stuff. So let's get you set up. I'm going to get a timer on and we'll do that, shall we? Okay. All right, so I've separated my page up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 sections. I'm going to set myself a timer for 20 minutes. And like I say, this isn't my method. This is something I got from, I think it was Katie Chappell from the Good Ship Illustration. And I've done this before. And previously, I think I ended up with, I did fill all the boxes, but I was so bad at idea generation that I ended up just rehashing a lot of the same ideas in slightly different formats. So, sorry, I'm just gonna get an image to work from. So they don't have to be completely unique ideas. I think it's just a kind of pressure off technique. So, hang on. I always like working from reference images. I don't copy or trace, but I do sometimes find it tricky working just from my memory. So sometimes I go on and screenshot an image of something, and in Procreate, which is what I use on my iPad, you've got a section where you can add a reference image. Let me just see if there's any more. Oh, that's a nice one. So if you've got a saved photo on your computer, on your iPad, there is a section where if you go to the little spanner on the top corner, and then there's a section down here, on mine anyway, it says reference, and it pops up this little image here, and you can search for an image. So import image. And that's the image that I found. So I'm just going to use that just to sit in my top corner, so you can pull that box wherever you want. You can make it bigger, well, if the image was bigger, or smaller, so I'll just make it as small as I can, just so when I'm drawing it, I don't have to remember what a Brussels sprout, if you don't know what that is. So I don't have to remember what a Brussels sprout looks like. I'm not tracing it, it's just going to stay there. I'm going to use it as a reference. So let me set a timer. Hang on, I need a different pencil. Which one is good? Right, 20 minutes. Let's do this. There's the timer. I'm just going to very quickly do the last idea because I've got one box left. No, I'm not, because otherwise I'm going to sit here all day. Without a timer, I can mull over stuff indefinitely. So I've got 19 ideas there. Well, really 18 because one didn't. And 19 ideas. Doesn't matter how good they are. I'm not going to work on those today, but when I pencil something in later in the week, I'm probably going to start working again in September because it's I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to listen to my seasons. So I'm probably going to start these in September. I've got 19 good ideas. It won't take me long to bash those up into something a bit more final, and I'm really pleased with that. So, there. Also, here's a little allotment update for you. So if you don't know, my friend has an allotment in Sheffield. Her friend was looking for someone who might be able to help out on their allotment. I kind of put my name forward after mulling it over for a little while, and I was waiting to hear back until they both got back from their holidays to see if she still needed help. I think at the moment she has already got someone to help her out, but I don't know how long-term that is. I'm going to have to speak to my pal about it. She seemed to kind of suggest that there might be the chance to get on it in the future, but like not at the moment. So anyone that was wondering about the allotment, it's not happening immediately. So I'm going to be working on my garden and trying to grow some things over the winter as well. But if you watched the last video, or whenever it was, the last couple of videos ago, I was mulling over whether to get a new channel for my gardening. It's probably not going to happen immediately. So that's that. If you're wondering what was going on, that's what's going on. So this is where I'm going to leave this video. I hope you found it useful and interesting, if nothing else, to see how other people, me, work through ideas, work through kind of generating a plan for what to do, I suppose. And also, I think it's sometimes useful seeing that not everyone is like motored up to work all the time. Sometimes you get this idea, especially on YouTube, because people film for interesting content, and sometimes it's a nice prompt having to film. It's a nice prompt to have to do some work, but so you don't often see the reality of people like chilling out, taking time off, and going through their quiet seasons when they're not working. So I hope today's been useful in that respect, so you can see the reality that not everyone is working all the time. So you don't have to feel behind or anything like that. It's just, you've got to listen to your body and kind of analyse, I suppose. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into this, but analyse how you are best suited to work. So I now have just fully accepted that summer is not my best time. I'll maybe try every now and then, but as soon as the weather gets hot, my brain shuts down, and that's completely fine. Maybe I just need to accept that and have summer as my slow time. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. So this is where I'm going to leave the video. I'll hopefully catch you in the next one. So until then, bye.